It's now time for Party Chat Sports.
The only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
What is up, Party Chat Sports? Welcome back. Yes, you are seeing this correctly. All four of us are here live, I guess, somewhat. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute since the four of us have all been able to hop on. It's been a lot of college football 25, so I do hope you forgive us for not recording something. We've just been grinding that out. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. We've got a good one. We are going to pick our second teams. For those that remember last year, we all picked second team that we were going to follow throughout the season. We'll get into that later in the episode. And you can see I'm repping the second team I picked from last year, the LA Rams.
Yeah.
Drew, you got it. Drew was our winner of our second team, whatever, from last year. So close I was to being our triple crown. So close I was.
Close.
I was a fantasy winner. I was a Pick'em's winner, and that came down to Drew and I.
And the fantasy, wasn't the fantasy like a huge comeback as well?
Yeah, I was like
you were like the 6th seed or something?
Oh, I was terrible.
You went 7-7.
Yeah, didn't you beat me in the championship or something?
It was something like that. There was, If you look at
It was
the team,
you and Chuck,
Chuck,
I
it was
think.
Chuck and I.
Championship.
Oh, you beat me in the week. You beat me the week to get into the to the Super Bowl.
If you look at my fantasy team from last year, like Trevor Lawrence was my starting quarterback. I had no business winning that, but all the cards fell, and here I am as your fantasy champion from last year. We're not going to look into the past too much because 2024 season is right around the corner. Preseason's done. It's over with. Those meaningless games, except for watching third stringers try fighting for jobs. It's done. Training camp is about over. We're going to get the cuts here soon, which is a sad day across the NFL. And then, only a few weeks away from week 1 of the NFL season. So, with that in mind, let's make some 2024 predictions. We're going to try predicting the playoffs. Who the 7 teams are for both the AFC and the NFC. Let's start with the AFC, which there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams to choose from here in the AFC. I felt like this was a little bit more difficult to come up with my 7 than the NFC. The NFC was more difficult because of the lack of teams. The AFC is difficult because of the abundance of good quality teams. So, do we want to start division? Do we just want to, how do we want to?
I think if we just go around, we just do the number 1 seed for each conference, and then the number 2 seed for each conference, and then the number 3 seed, all the way down the list. So I can go first and just touch on my number 1 seed for the AFC and the NFC. I'm going to keep it kind of chalk here, starting with the AFC, and, this might be a popular pick. I think the Chiefs are going to somehow manage to get the number 1 seed again this year, and it's going to go. The road to the Super Bowl is going to go through Arrowhead. But like you said, Gil, that's a very tough thing to win the AFC this year. I mean, just looking at the teams, whether it's the Chiefs, maybe they fight in their own division with the Chargers, and then you got the AFC East that's looking really strong. The AFC North is looking super strong. The South, so lots of different boxes in the ring. I think the Chiefs come out on top. Money Mahomes, best quarterback in all the land. I won't spend too much more time.
The rings. What?
You got a problem with that? Anyway,
no, I just
come up with your own analogies, man.
I'm just saying. I kind of felt forced. You kind of maybe stuttered on it. Didn't know if it worked, but it did work. So I'm proud of you.
Okay. Thanks for being proud. And then on the number one side in the NFC, I have the Detroit Lions getting the number one seed in the NFC. It just seems like that team's on the up and up, and Dan Campbell's going to have that squad ready to go. I think they eke out the number one seed in the NFC this year.
Drew?
I'll go ahead and go second. So I have the Chiefs too, and first of all, they're the best team in the league. Frankly, we saw that they can win a Super Bowl with Juju as their number one receiver. Now he's wide receiver 4.
Yeah, he's
on
back.
the team, so they just re-signed him. So, and also like with like the AFC North cannibalizing itself, as well as the East. The West is super easy for the Chiefs to blow through. The South, your best team in the Texans, is led by a quarterback who, in his sophomore year, is exposed to a sophomore slump, unfortunately. So if he can avoid that, maybe the Texans give him a run for their money. But it seems a lot more difficult for every other team to get the one seed. And then when you have the best quarterback on an improved team, a team that just won the Super Bowl and then got better, in my opinion, at least on the offensive side of the ball, it's pretty easy to pick. A little bit boring, a little bit bland, but that is what it is. And then on the NFC side of the league, same kind of deal, going with the 49ers. Obviously, this is all assuming health. Two kind of similar reasons. One, their roster is amazing. It looks like Ayuk is staying. Trent Williams will come back at some point. The rest of the offensive line sucks, but it sucked last year too. So I can't really think of any other big names that really left the Niners. They seem to be bringing back mostly the same squad. So as long as everyone can stay hurt, I know CMC hurt his calf or hamstring already in training camp. So as long as that doesn't come back to bite them, I don't see why the 49ers wouldn't be the one seed. And like I said with the Chiefs, their division, I mean, the Rams are pretty good, but they don't really compete with the Niners very well. The Cardinals will be better, but still not. And then the Seahawks, I think they had a close game with the 49ers last year, but I don't know. The Niners they're too good of a team to not pick.
Lots of fantasy folks are saying McCaffrey is due for a huge injury this year, being that he's been like the consensus number one fantasy player for 3 years in a row. Usually something bad happens.
It would tell us that he's likely. That it's likely. Based on his own history.
He's also on the Madden cover, so it does not help him or his case.
That could be huge. That could be huge.
Anyways,
who's your AFC and NFC favorites?
You're going to have to keep track of what I'm doing because
I'll write it down.
I'm going to go on the AFC side. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Crazy.
I don't think they're going to win the bowl. I don't think they're going to win the bowl. I think they are going to
save that for later. Don't spoil it.
Anyways, we're going to go with the Ravens. Just absolute powerhouse in the regular season. So
explain a little bit more.
They have been the number one twice in the last 5 years.
All right.
Okay.
Or at least top three in the last 5 years in the regular season. I'm not saying they're going to win a lot of games in the playoffs. Could, if they put it together this year. But having Roquan on the defense another year, another leadership year. And then you have Lamar.
Some would say that team got significantly worse from last year to this year.
It's all going to come down to coaching. So I probably trust John Harbaugh more than any other coach in that division. So I'm going to go Ravens number one AFC side and NFC side.
That was
big shocker here. Big shocker here. Sam Darnold is going to go 50 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Nah.
And that's going to get them the 4 seed.
See you next week.
That's going to help them win the division. But your number one seed.
Next week.
He
I'm
said
gonna go with the
not a terrible
Rams.
disappointment.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think they're gonna come out of that
The
division.
Rams at the number what?
What are you talking
Rams.
about?
Yeah. Speak to him, Cam. Why are the Rams so great?
Well, you got another year with Puka Nacua. You got Cooper Kupp. You got Matt Stafford. That's going to be a great offense no matter what. You got Kyron Williams in the backfield, so that's also going to make your offense a powerhouse. And then you have Sean McVay, who is close to retirement. He's going to give it his all this year. He's not going to be holding anything back. So we're going to remember that. So then we go on to the defensive side of the ball. They have always managed to put together a good defense. I still can't name a player on their defense.
I was going to say,
but
can you name a player? I was going to add.
Is going to
That's
score
what I was
60
going to ask.
points a game, and that's what's going to happen. Give me
They
the
just
LA
got dudes
Rams
out there.
as your shocker. We need a little bit of clickbait. Let's go LA Rams.
That's going to make a great TikTok.
Crazy.
All
Hey,
right.
I'll give it to him. The last year when he made a wild,
He did.
out of
and we all
pocket
laughed.
pick like that, the Colts were one win away from making the playoffs.
And they didn't make it.
They did.
And it turned out to be
We got close.
incorrect. But nonetheless,
You know
it was almost
You know,
It was
you
close.
did make it
It was
the UNL Cajuns as your national champions for your first one-star offline dynasty in that
all right.
DCF
What a
chart.
plug.
But anyways,
All
I'm going to
right,
Gil.
all right.
Gil, who do you have, buddy?
So here is the Rams defense. Braden Fisk, Bobby Brown III, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Ernest Jones IV, Christian Roseboom, Jared Burse, Darius Williams,
Ooh.
Cameron Curl, John Johnson III, Tre'Davious White, and Quentin Lake. How many of those
Yeah, that
guys
defense,
did you
Bro,
know
that's
before I
that's
just
a
named them?
bottom
Okay.
5 defense. That is a
Let
bottom
me,
5 defense.
the defensive tackle was a rookie last year, and he was in the running. I remembered because I saw him in the top 5 defensive rookies of the year, and like, who the heck is this guy? But I know they have a good defensive line or a good defensive tackle. The two guys that they
Not
have
as good
on
of a
the
defensive
line,
tackle that they had last year.
Jared Verse, and then they
Rookie.
brought in another guy from Florida State. So that could be a dynamic duo.
This,
You never know
Florida
if Aaron
State
Donald's going to stay around and
produces
coach, so
elite
he's going to give a
NFL
little bit of
talent.
it, going to give a little bit of an opinion and help them out a little bit. So hopefully they develop.
Well,
Anyways,
with Aaron Donald not
are we
there,
on
that's
Gil's
my.
turn?
Yeah, that's
Gil,
what
we're
I
on your
thought.
turn. He passed
Sorry,
it back to you.
I did. AFC, you got to go Chiefs. The one thing that Drew said that I put into consideration while building out my division winners is who is going to beat the hell out of each other in their divisions. Like Drew said it, the Chiefs have the easiest path within their own division. The AFC
Maybe.
East, there is 3 potential playoff teams. The AFC North, there is 4 potential playoff teams. The AFC South, you can make the argument for 2 or 3. Who knows what the hell the Titans are going to do? The Chiefs, their only competition is really the Chargers. So they have the easiest path. They're going to win more games because of who their division is, and just because they have Patrick Mahomes like quarterback. One thing, too, I was thinking of when Dylan was talking about like the powerhouse of the AFC. The best argument for why the AFC is so much better than the NFC. Who's the best 5 quarterbacks in the league? I was thinking, like, they're all AFC guys. With that said, the best of the best is still going to win the division, and the AFC is going to run through Arrowhead. The NFC, I'm going Detroit. They didn't lose anybody significant. In fact, they only got better throughout the draft, and they kept Ben Johnson. They still have one of the best, if not the best, offensive coordinator in the league. They're going to capitalize on that. You got another year with the coordinator. Dan Campbell, I still have faith in. The defense is starting to put itself together last year. And it's hard to go in comparison.
Got it up by Nick Mullins.
That'll happen. I mean, Nick Mullins is an NFL quarterback.
Bro, buddy, you said Nick Mullins was like the MVP like 3 times.
Oh, no,
last
I
season.
do love him, but nobody else respects him.
They
You
fixed
can't
it
have
up near
both
the end.
ways.
I can use the argument both ways because nobody else likes him or respects him.
Whatever.
People get dotted up
I like the
sometimes.
Lions. I think they got better this offseason. and they were already one of the best teams in the NFC. With a couple teams like the 49ers, they might be taking a Super Bowl slump or hangover from losing. The East, Cowboys aren't winning the East. This is just the NFC East curse.
We got plenty of time to talk about all the divisions when we get through
Who's
here.
our number twos?
Yeah,
a lot right for the Lions.
Yeah.
So let's get to that second.
Back to me. Going back to my my AFC number 2 seed, I have the Houston Texans getting the number 2 seed in the AFC, the second easiest AFC division, like we've talked about. After the Chiefs roll through their own division, the Texans are going to roll through the South, I believe. And I think the Texans are going to, Drew talked about C.J. Stroud having a potential sophomore slump, but what if he has the sophomore breakout that Joe Burrow did, where he leads his team to a Super Bowl? Not to do any foreshadowing, but the Texans, number 2 seed, they're going to be a formidable force. I've talked about the Texans multiple times on podcasts and in YouTube videos. That team is legit and they're going to be around for a while, and it starts now. Winning that division and be the number 2 seed behind just a great young offense, a budding and improving defense. I think they're going to be good. And then for the NFC, obviously I picked the Lions number 1, so that means the 49ers are number 2 for all the same reasons. Good team. Still have a lot of the pieces. I think one of the only pieces they may have lost is like a Chase Young. All right, whatever. So they still got the rest of that team there. They're going to be good, and we'll see how the Ayuk saga progresses. And I saw something today that even if no contract extensions reached, it could extend into the regular season, a la Le'Veon Bell. We'll see what happens with some wide receiver getting signed today. Maybe it proceeds that process. Who knows? But 49ers, my number 2. Texans, my number 2.
I think you're copying me.
I'm thinking the same thing.
I got the Texans number 2. So I think what came down to it was the cannibalization of all the other divisions. Just because, as I mentioned before, the North is hard, East is hard, South is not as hard. So, barring a sophomore slump or injury, the Texans got better. Adding Diggs, another year of Stroud, another year of Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Defense was pretty good last year, at least decent. And they have a defensive head coach. I imagine they will continue to get better. So, and they kept their coordinator too, Bobby Slowick, who is one of those kind of head coaching candidates on the offensive side. So, I don't really see the Colts. I think the Colts, like little run they had at the beginning of the season, I guess throughout the season. I don't think Anthony Richardson is going to compete with the Texans. The Jags, you know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence. We'll see. See what happens there. But maybe one day he'll break out like people wanted him to for the last 3 years. I just think the Texans are so much better than their competition within the division. So on the NFC side of the ball, we've got the Lions. I do think the Lions are good. I don't think their competition is harder than the Niners. The Packers will be good. The Bears will be sneaky good. The Vikings will be a trap game. So,
it is a trap game.
So,
Sam Darnold,
I just think the competition is much more difficult. I think they're good enough to be the winner of that division.
Ever played with.
You still crying?
No, I'm not. I'm just making a statement.
Anyways, the Lions did get better on defense, although better on defense is pretty easy when their defense was abysmal. Probably the worst defensive secondary in the league, at least close. They added Arnold, which is going to be pretty good. So
didn't they add 2? Didn't they add 2 corners? I could be making that up.
I don't remember what the other one was. I think they might have added a guy from like Mizzou or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got like Terrion Arnold and Enos Rakestraw Jr. Both of their top 2 picks were corners.
So obviously a need. You throw 2 rookies out there. I mean, I think Arnold's going to be good, but You never know.
Darnold?
DBs
Yeah.
come out all the time. Did I say Darnold?
No, you did not. No, you did not say Darnold.
Okay. Good. Thanks. I think they're going to be much improved, and hopefully not choke a 21-point lead in the NFC Championship. But they might be Super Bowl champions if.
Cam, who you got?
Yeah, it's crazy how wrong everybody could be about the NFC North. Your number 2 seed is going to be the Green Bay Packers.
Pause.
That is the most complete team in the division. You have LaFleur, who is getting full control of the whole team, and that team looked like the best team. No, not with Aaron Rodgers there, and now he's in year 2 of Jordan Love. His system's in place. Jordan Love looks like a top 10 quarterback on the field. Not his stats, but on the field, he looks like a top 10 quarterback in the last half of the season. He's going to continue to grow off of that. I hate it. It's annoying. I'm sick and tired of it. I hope he sucked, but it's just not. It's not true. Green Bay is going to be your number 2 seed. They're going to probably get about 12 wins, and they probably will tie the Vikings. They will sweep Detroit, and they will sweep the Bears. So that's your number 2 seed for the NFC. Your number 2 seed for the AFC. Obviously, it's got to be the Chiefs. I already took away the Ravens. Chiefs are the Chiefs. Go ahead, Gil, with your number 2.
Dylan copied right off of me. My number 2 was Texans.
I said it first. Y'all copied me.
Texans, number 2. Really not much more I need to say. They have the second easiest division. The other 2 divisions, they're going to cannibalism. And then NFC, 49ers. They were the best team in the NFC last year. They didn't digress that much. I just think the Lions improved more. And they were neck and neck in the NFC Championship game. That was close. That's as close as you're going to get sometimes. So I think those are your 1 and 2. Pretty much again in the NFC. Just this time is going to go through Detroit and then San Francisco.
All right. Back to me. Number 3. Keep this moving along here. My number 3 team in the AFC is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, winning the AFC North. And part of my reasoning, like we said, AFC North is going to beat up on itself. And they have hard strength of schedule, a bad matchup. They play the AFC West. They play they play some hard teams. Hardest strength of schedule, Pittsburgh Steelers, hardest in the league. Browns, 3rd hardest in the league. Ravens, 4th hardest in the league. Cincinnati Bengals, 6th easiest schedule in the league because they finished 4th in division last year. So all those matchups, they're getting to play the number 4 team in those divisions. They're getting some really easy games. With Joe Burrow coming back, with that team that, they have holes. Like their defense, probably bottom in the AFC North. They got the worst defense in the AFC North, but a healthy team might be the best offense in the AFC North. Obviously, it's going to beat up on itself. We know this. Every team in the AFC North could go 3-3 and split with all the other teams some way or another. But with the 6th easiest strength of schedule outside of that, I just think they're going to win more games in their out-of-conference schedule than some of those other teams will. Bengals as my number 3 team. NFC, I got the Cowboys winning the NFC East, being the number 3 team. I asked Drew before this started if the Cowboys are playing the 49ers this year. He said yes, so I got the Cowboys at the number 3. If the 49ers were not on their schedule, I would have had the Cowboys at number 2. But, Cowboys ain't beating the 49ers, and they're never gonna. So Cowboys at the number 3. Obviously, they signed CeeDee Lamb today. Will they sign Dak Prescott? Who knows? But you're getting Diggs back, right? That's some good news in the secondary. You lost what's his face, Deron Bland, Mr. Record holder. So we'll see. But again, I was drafting CeeDee Lamb as many fantasy leagues as I could because I think he's going to have a great year. I think Dak's going to have a great year because that offense typically does. Now the defense, we'll see. And with the strength of schedule being kind of right in the middle of the ballpark, we'll see. But regular season Cowboys are a good team to choose. So that's it.
As much as I want to think you're right, I'm afraid it's impossible.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Dang.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Should have thought of that. Anyways, number 3 in the AFC, is the Jets.
Ooh.
Jets.
Jets.
I've been picking the Jets as I picked the Jets as the AFC East winner last year, and I think that's not far off. If you get more than 4 plays out of your quarterback, you should be competing for at least the AFC East title. Especially when I think the Bills got worse, and I don't trust the Dolphins at all. So, but you went. How many games you win last year? 7 games.
7. Yeah,
like mediocre quarterback play should get
mediocre.
You
that is.
You should.
It was worse than mediocre.
No, but
that's what I'm saying.
But
like
mediocre
if you had a mediocre quarterback, you win at least 10 probably. So with Aaron, like bad Aaron Rodgers is at a minimum above average, I would think.
I'd say he's at a
that's
minimum.
That's all you need. You got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Not a lot else going on in the offense, but you got some. You stole my tackle, so whatever, dude. I'm still mad about that. Anyways, defense is fantastic, top 5 at least. There's no reason that you shouldn't win the AFC East, at least compete for it. And then slightly easier than the AFC North. So that's why you're at the third slot. So I like it. Like I said, I don't think the Bills are going to be as good. And the Dolphins are the Dolphins. So in the NFC East, I've got the Eagles. Same kind of reason as Dylan, except for unfortunately the Cowboys can't win. So it's either the Eagles or like the Commanders, I guess, and it's definitely not the Commanders. So Eagles have a good team. Offensive line is still good even without Jason Kelce. Defense got better. They added, who did they get? Quinyon Mitchell and
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean. Got the I can't say their nickname that I saw on Twitter. They got 2 white guys on playing DB, so and still, I mean, they got a running back at quarterback, but they
upgraded with Saquon.
1 good wide receiver and 1.
Oh, they got Kenny Pickett now.
1 mid, slightly above average wide receiver 2, and then Howie is never escaping the names we know allegations. All the drafts and all he trades for are names you know, and that's Dotson. So, I'm only picking them because the Cowboys can't win. So, whatever.
Curses are meant to be broken.
That's what I said last year, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
If they were meant to be broken, they would be broken already.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't tell that to the Cubs.
Eagles were 10-1 and they lost. Cowboys.
It only took the Cubs 100 years. It's fine. Go, Cam.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins at number 3 in the AFC. I think this is the year they get over the hump. I think Mike McDaniel has something to prove this year. You come out firing, and then you kind of poop the bed at the end of every single year. So I think it's time to actually prove it, that you can do something. And I think he's going to. In the NFC, we have the Eagles, just because I'm not putting the Cowboys up there. So, yeah.
Perfect analysis.
Number 3, I got the Bengals. I've been high on the Bengals. If you go back and listen to my overrated, underrated, I picked Bengals as a little underrated. I feel like they're not getting as much love as some other NFC, AFC North teams. I could be completely wrong on that. I think with a healthy Joe Burrow, I'm a big Joe Shiesty fan. Oh, I have been. I believe that he is capable of potentially breaking speaking of curses, the Super Bowl quarterback curse that goes around quarterbacks that lose their first ever Super Bowl matchup. I think he's capable of being that guy that breaks that curse. With, Jamar Chase contract year, T. Higgins looking for a contract. There's a lot of guys out there that are looking to prove something. I think this is a good year for them to try proving that, and they're just going to take advantage of everybody else beating each other up in the AFC North. In the NFC side, I got the Eagles. I thought about the Cowboys, but then I thought, you know what? Eagles. I feel like the question marks with the Eagles are easier to overcome than the question marks with the Cowboys. Because with everything that happened this offseason, or didn't happen with the Cowboys this offseason, there's a lot of, like, are they really in this? What's going on with that? Like, that is a huge dark cloud over this team until something actually happens. The Eagles, their main controversy is Jalen Hurts doesn't speak up enough. I feel like that's more, you can overcome that more than who the hell and what the hell is going on with the quarterback situation. And just the fact that it's due for the Eagles to win the division because Cowboys can't. Nobody else is even close to being good enough in that division to be a winning team. So that's my number 3.
All right, back around to the top here. Number 4 team in the AFC. I also have the Jets for reasons previously mentioned. If Rodgers would have played last year, they would have won that division so easily. It's not even funny. And so with Rodgers presumably playing this year, they should also win that division. But on the other hand, the Jets have literally done nothing for what, Gil, 14 years to deserve any type of credit as if they should be winning divisions. So we'll see. But I do have the Jets. I do have the Jets giving the 4th seed there and winning their division finally, returning to the playoffs, ending the drought, ending Gil's eternal misery. Hopefully, for your sake, Gil. And then in the NFC, yep. In the NFC, number 4, because I have to choose somebody from the NFC South, they do get an automatic bid. I will choose the Falcons. I think they easily have the best team in the NFC South, simply just with the addition of Kirk Cousins and the rest of the team there being pretty decent. Defense ain't bad. You got Bijan, you got weapons on offense, you got a quarterback that can actually throw it to him now. Granted, if he's healthy. Even if he isn't healthy, you got Penix on the team that might be promising as well. So they're building something over there in Atlanta, and it'll be a good game for me to watch. Steelers going down there in week 1. It'll be very interesting to see how that all plays out. So that'll be a good game for me. I'm excited. But yeah, for the Falcons, looking at the other options, I don't think the Carolina Panthers are making the turnaround. I don't think the Saints are making the turnaround. Saints suck, and then I don't think the Buccaneers. You know what? The Buccaneers might give them the Falcons a run for their money. I kind of disregarded the Buccaneers when I made this list, but I've already chosen the Falcons, and so that is my answer.
My 4th in the AFC is the Bengals. A lot of reasons already mentioned. They are, I think, if you averaged out the teams in the AFC North, the Bengals are probably on top with, I would say, the best offense in that division and maybe the worst defense, but they're not terrible. They're not bad. So I think it averages out somewhere. Dylan, you already mentioned the easiest schedule out of all of those teams. And someone's got to do it. And frankly, the Ravens, who probably will come in second, in my opinion, got worse. Their offensive line got worse. The receivers are always bad. Zay Flowers is promising, but that's pretty much your only guy other than
if he plays,
Andrews,
right?
So.
Ain't he in trouble?
Got
just
Derrick
like
Henry, but he's old.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he?
I thought he was. Could be wrong.
Anyways, I think the Bengals are your 4th seed. As long as Joe Burrow's wrist is not made of glass.
That could be true.
So we'll see what happens. In the NFC, I also have the Falcons. They did the most to get better in a division that is not very good. Obviously, I could see the Buccaneers competing with them. I could see the Buccaneers even squeezing into the 7th slot, as we'll see later. We'll talk about later. But really, it's not a good division. The Falcons with kind of in the same boat as the Jets, except for worse, where they're almost there. But you have Desmond Ridder playing quarterback, who is going to be 3rd string on the Cardinals this year. So that's not a good quarterback to have starting for you. And they had freaking Mariota starting the season off for him. So just not a good quarterback situation. Defense is pretty good. They're not elite. They're not the worst. They're good enough. And then got a lot of young talent on the offense with a seasoned vet at quarterback who throw it up to Drake London like he used to do with Jay Jettis, and he'll go get it.
And Kyle Pitts. Throw it to Kyle Pitts a lot.
Draft Kyle Pitts this year. Draft him.
Okay, let's relax.
I'm drafting
like he
him.
used to
What
do
do you-
with
what do
Jay
you-
Jettis. No one catching a ball like Jay Jettis. Let's be honest.
It wasn't a knock against Jay Jettis. Relax.
I know it's not a knock. It's not a knock against
Not
Drake
every
London
Jettis.
is a very
It's
good jump
comparing
ball catcher.
Drake
That's like his whole
London to
thing.
Jay Jettis in some way, shape, or form, and that just can't happen.
Not every conversation needs the Vikings to be brought up.
It doesn't.
Drake London
It
is
doesn't
good.
need it. But he's not even in the same
Drake London
ballpark.
is good.
Not
We're
even
not
in
saying
the
he
same
is.
ballpark.
Draft Drake London in your
Not
fantasy
the same
teams.
ballpark.
Good.
Draft Kyle Pitts. It's finally the year.
Yes, it might be actually. And then of course Bijan, and you don't have freaking Bum McBumsky who went to Pittsburgh.
Cordero.
Given no.
Dude,
No,
Arthur
you're freaking
Smith.
offensive
Arthur
coordinator,
Smith.
buddy.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, I've already seen Arthur Smith run like a pitch, like a swing pass screen to Cordell Patterson in the preseason. I about ripped my eyeballs out.
Yeah.
And he had Michael Pruitt out in front to block, which is another Atlanta dude. And I was like, what the heck am I watching right now? I will complain about him at some point in the year. I just, we haven't gotten there yet.
Got that out of Atlanta. So Bijan
Still
will
better
get
than that
carries and
candidate.
targets,
Still
and
better.
not Algier and Patterson. So I think they're due. They're due for a good season. I don't think they'll be great. That's why they're the 4 seed, but much better compared to their NFC
one of
South brethren.
those 9-8 division winners.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be 10.
Bucks in the NFC for the number 4 because I'm not picking the Falcons. That's self-explanatory again.
Personal vendettas out here.
AFC, we are going to go the Texans because I have not said them yet, so I feel like it is time for the Texans to be picked. And they definitely will be getting the number 4 seeded CJ Stroud. The Texans are doing great, got a great roster, going to win the AFC South, and probably going to be an 11-win ball club. So
I think they win more than 11.
I think they win 11.
You think the an 11-win team only gets the 4th seed?
Yes.
Yeah, if the rest of the division only wins 10.
No, I'm saying if like you think the Finns, the Chiefs, and the Ravens are also all getting more than 11 wins.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
We're probably winning 14. Maybe
14
if they get lucky.
15. All right.
That's wild. That's insane. All right, my 4 team. The NFC, I got the Falcons, just because I thought about the Bucks, but Drew, like you said, they did the most to get. I think it was Drew that said they did the most to get better. And I did like the comparison to the Jets because they were also held back by bad quarterback play. They were a 7-win team, I believe, last year as well.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Who were?
Falcons.
I haven't
They
pulled
were
it up.
They were 7-10 last year with bad quarterback play and bad coaching as well. So you're hoping that you improve the coaching. You would definitely improve the quarterback 1 and 2. So even if Kirk isn't 100% off the Achilles, you'd still probably have some faith in Penix. They improved. The Bucks are kind of, they didn't improve. I don't think they got worse. They're just kind of stale in a way. So give me the Falcons there in the South. The AFC East winner, I got the Miami Dolphins.
It's plausible deniability.
Coaching is, I think Mike McDaniels is the better coach. The offensive weapons that the Dolphins have, they had the ability to put 70 up on a team last year.
That's the Broncos.
I know, but still. It's an NFL team. That should happen regardless, unless it's like the Broncos or the Chargers, I guess. They have that deep threat home run ability at any point. That more of that than the Jets do. And ultimately, I'm scared with the Jets because of how many older guys that they are relying on. A lot of the guys that they're relying on stay healthy, are a little aged, are a little older, so it worries me. And the Bills, they haven't gotten better. They've only gotten worse. Their wide receivers, Who's their starting wide receiver? Curtis Samuel?
Keon Coleman?
Like
Khalil Shakur?
They don't have anybody anymore. It's a
Dalton Kincaid.
Dalton Kincaid is not bad, but he's tight end, so
could be receiver number one.
They're going to have to split him out. The Bills have. We've been talking about the Bills for a while now that their window has closed. It's officially shut. You can nail that window shut at this point. It's not opening back up anytime soon. So it comes down to the Jets and the Dolphins, and I just think with the coaching and the pieces that the Dolphins have on offense, they're going to edge out the Jets. And they'll probably win 10 games. This is a PG podcast. PG-13. Let's
something else.
Yeah.
Is it back to me?
Yes. For the wild card teams, do we want to list every single one individually again, or do we want a bunch of? Because we're at like 40 minutes right now.
Let's just kill it.
All right, I'll kill it. I'll kill them. Get it together. Let us know when you got it together.
Good.
All right.
All good.
So AFC number 5, I have the Ravens for previously mentioned reasons. Drew was right. The Ravens only got worse. Their O-line got literally obliterated. They had lost like 3 starters in the first week of free agency to other teams. And so their O-line is going to be scary bad. But when you have Lamar and, even an aged Derrick Henry is a pretty good running back, I think they're going to be good enough. And the defense is always going to be on the upper half of the NFL. So I think the Ravens get the number 5 seed. They did win 13 games a year ago. So they're a good NFL team, even though they got worse. NFC, my number 5 team is the Eagles for, previously mentioned reasons. They're a good team. I just have the Cowboys winning the AFC East, which means they come in second and they'll lock up that number 1 wild card spot. My 6th AFC team, I have the Bills. Do I think they're going to make a run? No. I think they would probably lose very quickly. In this situation, I think they would go at Cincinnati in the wild card round, and they will lose that game. But although their window may be closed, Josh Allen keeps your playoff window wide open. It's as simple as that. I mean, he gets hated on, and we'll hate on him, and I'll hate on him, but he's good enough to where he has the talent to carry that team to the playoffs and get them, where they need to go. They just may make it very far. NFC, my number 6 seed is the Packers. I don't think Jordan Love is as good as all these people think he is. I think he is a product of a very, very strong Dallas Cowboy playoff game that propelled him to huge hype and all this stuff. But, Cam said he was a top 10 quarterback in the second half of the regular season. I watched him play a regular season game against the Steelers and lose to a Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett team and not look all that great and throw a handful of interceptions. That's just what I've seen. So I don't think Jordan Love's all that good, but, at the very least, the bottom of the NFC is starting to get a little weak here, so they make it in. And then the 7th NFC team, I'm sticking the NFCs for a second. The Rams, I think they're decent, like all we've said. Their offense is going to be really good. Their defense is going to be really bad. That makes them like a middle average NFL team. And in the NFC, I think that gets you into the playoffs in a year like this upcoming year. Now in the NFC, on my 7th seed, we got teams like that I haven't mentioned, like the Dolphins. We got teams like the Browns and the Steelers and the Chargers and the Jaguars and the Colts, all duking it out for this 7th spot. But I'm going to go to the team that made it into the 7th spot last year. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, baby. We're going to make it. This team only got better. I could just be trying to manifest this because their schedule is incredibly difficult. But one thing I know is that the Steelers play to their opponents, okay? They're going to play a bad team, and they're going to play like shite, all right? They're going to play a good team, and they're going to play well. Until they go into Philadelphia, they're going to get railed. They're going to get railed by the Chiefs. But regardless, this team only got better than it did a year ago, and they made the playoffs a year ago. So, ergo, they make the playoffs this year, hopefully. That would be great. I hope Russell Wilson rolls an ankle so that Justin Fields can start.
Oh, my.
Not happening, pal. I'm sorry.
It probably won't, but what kind of person am I if I say they don't?
Props. You know what? I suppose at the 7 seed, things can happen, but
a lot of things happen. They made it last year.
A lot of good teams. A lot of good teams still down there.
They made it last year, and they were worse. They had Kenny Pickett,
these teams will
Mitch
collapse.
Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph, and they made the playoffs. Teams only gotten better.
All right, my 5th team in the AFC is the Bills.
Also, sorry, they will have a top 5 defense. So by the law of averages, if they have just average quarterback play, they'll be good enough to win a lot of games, even if their schedule is incredibly difficult. I rest my case.
We will see. Mike Tomlin.
Don't bet against him.
Probably will. He's winning 9 games. So.
And then they get in first rounded by 40 points to the Texans.
Yeah, probably. The Bills at the 5 spot because Josh Allen is still fantastic. He is probably the second best quarterback in the league. Unfortunately, he cannot progress to the first spot because his father, Patrick Mahomes, owns him. And there's nothing he can do about that, especially with a worse team. But still good enough to get to the playoffs. I think the offense will be, on paper, it looks terrible. I'll be honest. It looks really bad. I think it'll be better than it looks, but it will not be great. And then for, again, reasons that we mentioned earlier, the Ravens and the Browns, who are my 6 and 7 in that order, will have a harder time as far as their schedule goes. I've got the Ravens at 6, like I just mentioned. I think they're better than the Browns due to the quarterback situation. They're roughly on par for defense. The Browns' offensive weapons are better, but the quarterback is worse. So you can really flop these two guys around. We'll see what happens. And then I'll just mention the Browns again here at the 7 spot. Their defense is really good. Their offensive weapons are really good, but I think they got worse at quarterback somehow. Even though
they kept Deshaun and got worse.
Yeah.
That's why I kept him out, because he's gonna be so bad.
Yeah. He had the highest percentage of inaccurate throws or uncatchable passes or whatever it was last season. I just don't see any possible way he can come back and be even like maybe average is his ceiling. And
he's coming back from a shoulder injury.
Average.
And he has a shoulder injury on his throwing shoulder. Buddy's cooked.
I just don't see any world where he can be. The defense will probably carry them to a few wins.
For sure.
They'll luck into a whole bunch of wins from defense. They only have to score, 20-some points to win. So I think it's possible they come in here at the 7th spot, but I really don't see them going anywhere after that. NFC, I've got the Cowboys at 5. Can't win the division, unfortunately. Still a good team. Didn't get better. Didn't get a whole lot worse. Hopefully, we'll see. I might be talking about that shortly. Got the Packers at 6. Harder division than the Cowboys. Jordan Love. Was he just on a Linsanity run? Who knows? We'll see. Let's see a little bit more, a little larger sample. Until then, the Packers are still a good team. Of course, I don't think they're not necessarily better than the Cowboys or anyone else 1 through 4.
Jordan Love is Jimmy G. I just came to that.
That's crazy. I think he's a little bit better than that.
Jimmy G went nuts when he played for the 49ers, like when he came in for like an injured somebody, and then he went crazy, and then they signed him to a long-term contract. And he got a bunch of hype because he played behind Brady for like 4 years, and he had all this knowledge, played well for like 8 games, and then look where he's at now.
There was a moment there with Jimmy G where after they traded for him, they were like undefeated in games that Jimmy G played in.
And then I think he got hurt at the end of that season, didn't like finish it or something. But then when they came back, they thought like, here's our guy. They did go to a Super Bowl. They did lose it because of him, but nonetheless, we'll see.
At 7th spot, I got the Rams, but this is super interchangeable with the Bucks or who's my other team?
Cardinals?
The Bears.
Oh.
Bears.
Bears.
If Caleb Williams goes crazy and reaches his potential that a lot of people think he can, then they got really good on offense. To be honest, I mean,
They
maybe really
everybody.
good is a bit of a reach, but they got much better.
They had the largest cap space and signed everybody under the sun.
And their defense was pretty good. They had one of the best, if not the best, corner in football last season. If he can replicate that, they'll still be good. So my official pick is the Rams because Stafford, Puka, and Cup are going to be nice, and that's going to be enough to win them a lot of games. But the Bears could be sneaky if they do hit. And Caleb Williams, gets a feel for the game early on. So on to you, Cam. Let's hear it.
All right, what do you want first?
Give us
whatever you would like. Just finish it out.
All your wild card teams.
We're going to go AFC first. Number 5 seed. Chargers.
Ooh. I like the Chargers.
I think Harbaugh is going to fit right back into the NFL. I think Herbo is going to have a down season, but is probably going to actually make playoffs and win a playoff game this year because of Jay Herbo and his running scheme. At number 5, we'll go to the Jets. We'll give it to the Jets.
You mean number 6?
Number 6.
You just said the Chargers.
Okay. Yep, number 6. We're going to go the Jets. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I'm not going to put the juju on him this year.
So you admit you did. You admit you did. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a different one. It's a different one this year.
Jeez, man.
He's got a different one.
It's a great team, especially. It's a great team, especially if Hassan Reddick decides to show up. I think he's going to make them.
That's a huge if.
I think it's going to make them a lot better with Quinn and Williams and both of them on the line. You lose Bryce Huff, but you gain Aaron Rodgers. Big difference between him and Zach Wilson. Your 7th seed, the Bills.
4 from the AFC East.
3.
I think we're gonna do the Bills there. I don't see Josh Allen not making the playoffs this year. I can't believe Josh Allen doesn't make the playoffs. I'm sorry, Dylan. I can't do the Steelers. I think this is the year.
That's
next
fine.
year.
Everyone's sleeping on the Steelers. That's okay.
All right, so we're going over the NFC. Your 5 seed. 49ers, obviously. I just remembered I had to put them in. I have to have them in there. They're probably going to be an 11 to 12 team.
Forgot you had the Rams at number 1.
It's tough.
Right.
Yeah, 49ers, 5 seed, self-explanatory. They go to the Super Bowl. Your 6 seed, your Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to say, Sam, this is solely basing it off of Sam Darnold. Hopefully he can get into some sort of a rhythm with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson. It's probably the most suited offense for him.
Bro, your offense is suited for Sam Darnold. That's not a good thing. And
your 7th seed.
Keep going.
It's going to be a Detroit Lions.
Wow.
They go back to the playoffs.
I'll give it to you, Cam. I've never seen...
It's going to be a shocking year. It's going to be a year like no other. And your quarterback that's going to get hurt on his contract year is... I'm sorry, Drew. I just think there is going to be a injury from the NFC South.
South?
Yeah, South.
Okay, perfect.
Why are we predicting injuries?
Listen, man, can you stop saying there's no need for that.
You know what? I will give it to you, Cam. I've never, ever seen someone with so much blind optimism, faith, and the ability to flip-flop on their own team like you. I mean...
It is a spectacle.
It's a gift.
You made 3 obituaries on your own team this last season and posted it and made a video. What do you mean I go back and forth? I didn't make that shit. I didn't say, we suck. oh, that stinks. You decided to make a whole video, record yourself, put on a mustache, and then say,
Hey, those are different. Those are two different.
And then the next videos, hey, this
No.
is the best team ever.
The mustache was the savior, not the obituary. Come on. If you're going to get him right.
Versa. Anyways, don't talk to me about that. We like the Vikings this year. That's it.
You got me.
Those are my teams.
We do not like the Vikings this year.
We at Party Chat Sports love the Vikings this year.
Who is we?
All of us.
No.
Cameron
All of
Broad
us
does not
on
speak for
Monroe
everybody here at
Street.
Party Chat Sports.
Everyone on Monroe Street in apartment, whatever.
I don't think Morgan's on the same page.
You a one-man band.
If he said we weren't making the playoffs this year, so.
And she's right.
She's speaking facts.
Speaking truth.
She also said she's smacking the Cowboys and she's scared to play the Jets.
She's not a 49ers fan for another 3 years, so. She's only 1 year into her 4-year probation period.
Two.
All right, so she's 2
I'm
years.
a 49ers fan until they win 4 games or less a season.
Do we want to do our quick championship game and Super Bowl predictions?
I still got to do my wildcard teams, bro.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Gil.
Go.
I'm so sorry.
Ravens, I got them as a 5th seed. I called them the second most overrated team in the NFL. Lost 3 starters on the offensive line. I mean, you can go back and listen to me talk about the Ravens in my video, overrated, underrated. But I still think they make the playoffs. Talented team, talented roster, talented coach. Then I got the other Harbaugh at 6. I think Jim Harbaugh, I mean, he's made it to the playoffs almost every year. He was an NFL coach. And that was with a terrible 49ers roster back in the day.
Terrible.
Was able to build that up. And just give them the right pieces. I think they'll be fine, especially
Was
in
it
that
terrible,
division.
or did they have an elite defense?
They had an elite defense and Frank Gore.
He helped
that's what I
build
thought.
And Vernon Davis. Wait a minute. What are we talking about? Michael
Let's
Michael
go back.
Vernon
Let's
Davis,
go back to that
Frank
team
Gore?
not being
Yeah,
trash.
What the? Joe
Was it elite
Staley?
before he got there?
Hello?
Was it elite before he got there?
No,
The
but it
names
wasn't
were
elite
there.
in year 1 either. Sorry, it's your pick. I'm not going to argue.
Hold on.
Willis and Navarro Bowman. He had the dynamic duo there.
Was it there before he got there? His first season, I'm pretty sure he made the NFC Championship game.
Well, then he inherited a pretty darn good team, if we're being honest.
Yeah, great team.
His first year they went 13-3 and lost the conference championship. That's a great team.
What was it like in 2010?
I would argue the Chargers are not in that boat.
They went 5-10 the year before.
Oh,
All right, maybe you're right, Gil. I don't know, man.
I think they drafted Crabtree.
They went 6-10 the year before.
You know what? I'm not gonna argue that. You could be right.
They were not good.
I just hope it's not, because I don't need any more good AFC teams.
Anyways, the 7th team I got is the Colts. I think I'm not saying
taking after me, boys.
Anthony Richardson
he gets the
like
Colts
this
hate.
godsend, but I do think they
I
get
did put
better.
him at like my number 4 cute quarterback like a month and a half ago.
That was interesting. Everybody should go back and watch that video too.
I forgot.
I think they do
I
end
don't
up
know
being
what I
better
was
than.
thinking.
I think they end up being better than the Jaguars. They're able to beat up on that division a little bit. Get some wins against the Jaguars, against the Titans. I think.
Yo, who's your 5th team? Who's your 5th team?
Ravens, Chargers, Colts.
So you got the Browns, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Bills, all missing the playoffs.
I got the Dolphins making it over the Jets.
You got the Jets not even making the play. Oh my!
Yeah,
God.
he's doing some bull.
He's anti-manifesting right now.
It's
so
just
scared.
like you was saying the game's over in the second quarter. It's ridiculous. I'm so sick and tired.
PTSD, bro.
I'm not gonna.
We haven't made the playoffs since.
I'm not gonna fault you.
This kid's trauma dumping right now.
Your balls weren't even dropped last time they made the playoffs.
They weren't.
That's so tough.
Oh, that's messed up. Anyways, yeah, I have the Jets missing the playoffs, and they were my most overrated team in the NFL. in that video. Go back and watch that if you want to know why I believe that. Heading to the NFC. Cowboys, I still think they make the playoffs. I mean, Dak Prescott is, when he plays, assuming he plays, and there's not much of an issue there, that he's going to be on the field. He's still the best quarterback in the NFC, probably. Second best, third. I mean, he's up. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC, if not the best.
You're right the first time.
All right. Same Darnold. Come on.
Shut up, dude. Bro.
Again, the ability to bring up the Vikings in every conversation.
Hey, best quarterback in the NFC. Let's talk about it.
Dak Prescott, end of story.
Packers.
Go watch my quarterback video.
I got the Packers making it.
That still puts him at like number 5 or 6 in the league, though. So
I got Packers making it as 6. Jordan Love did have a little insanity run there after Thanksgiving, but I think the roster is still in place for him to make the playoffs in a weak NFC conference. And then I'm double dipping, triple dipping, really, in the NFC North.
Do it.
I got the Bears making it.
You're a bitch. I do need to state my case after you talk.
The Bears.
You already did.
No, not on the Vikings.
Yeah, you did. You put the Vikings at number 6.
Yes, but I forgot to say I think Brian Flores is about to make a top 10 defense. Top 8.
That's fine.
With who, dude?
Dallas Turner, Van Ginkel, Dwight McGovern.
Who?
And who?
You're just saying names, bro. You're just making names up.
Right? It sounds like the Rams defense right now, bro.
I need you to look up Dwight McGovern, number 1 PFF cornerback in college football last year, went undrafted.
Guess what? He went undrafted and he's playing in the NFL now.
Check his
He's in the NFL now.
And he's doing
great. Preseason.
Hey, Stephon Diggs had a great preseason. Look at him now.
So did Kenny Pickett.
No.
Anyways, the Bears are squeaking into the playoffs. You guys talked about the Bears. They have a really good roster. Caleb Williams just needs to not have a Peyton Manning type rookie season.
Bro, they went 7-10 with a terrible roster. They went 7-10 with Fields running for his life.
My biggest concern is coaching. They start off poorly, they will make a coaching change probably. But if they get off to a hot start, I expect them to make the playoffs. And then the teams I have missing are the Bucks, the Rams, and I thought about the Seahawks just because they're a winning team, but they squeak in. And I love Geno, so I had to throw that one out there. They have a solid roster. But that's my 3 wildcard teams. Cowboys, Packers, Bears. Let's wrap this up with everybody picking their second team. So the way we did this last year was we were a little bit more strict with the rules. They had to be bottom 2, not make the playoffs, and so bottom 2 in your division, not make the playoffs. And then Dylan and I had to pick NFC teams because our teams are AFC. Drew and Cam had to pick AFC teams because their teams are NFC. We're opening it up to the 14 teams that didn't make the playoffs and finished top. It doesn't matter conference-wise. That's how we're doing this, right?
I don't know. Or do you just pick out of the 30 or the 28 teams that aren't our 4 teams? You go that route. It don't matter. Someone.
Give me the Texans.
On first, so I'll just tell you.
Well, Drew is the first one. Drew has the first pick.
I'm keeping my pick in the old rules.
Well, because it don't matter anyway.
Because I'm the winner, and Dylan was crying earlier because he's so sad. His team was terrible.
I got no one.
He wants to change the rules now. But anyways, I'm going with the
really
Bengals, baby.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because he gets to choose the Bengals, and we get to choose nobodies.
It's within the rules. I'm sorry.
They're stupid rules.
I might have made the rules.
It's voided. 2 out of 4.
Yo.
What?
No, Drew's would.
I
it would be Bengals with the previous mentioned rules to begin with for Drew.
Exactly.
Yes. I know, but that's
cheap.
An outlier.
It's a cheap
that's
win.
An outlier.
It's a cheap
win.
It
doesn't matter.
It's a huge outlier.
Burrow's wrist could implode at any time. He's actually due for an injury right now. Joe Burrow's been injured at this specific day like every season of his life.
This is true, actually. He had the calf last year and missed like 3 weeks.
You know, it could be.
There's still 2 hours. There's still 2 hours left in the day. He could fall in his kitchen.
I'm going with the Bengals. Bengals are my team.
It's ridiculous.
So
pretty easy pick.
Whatever.
Within the rules.
That's so stupid.
Whatever.
Keep in mind.
So stupid.
Gil, go ahead.
I was really hoping that I'd hop on and I know what I was going to do.
We'll just keep it old rules since everyone's crying. Let's go.
No,
you were the one crying.
No, we're
Even
doing
Just
all
keep
this.
it old
I'm not
rules
doing this.
since I'm crying.
Even
I'm
with
crying.
the
We are
previous
crying, but
rules,
we are
I wasn't
keeping
sure
it
what I was going to do.
I am weeping. I'm
You
weeping.
didn't even have the worst one. I had the second pick. What are you talking about? Quit crying. We're doing the old rules. It's not because
You
you're
picked the
crying.
Patriots.
We're
Yeah,
keeping
you
the
picked the
tradition.
Patriots. That
You
was
don't
your
mess
own
with
fault.
tradition, Gil. You should know that.
Let Gil make his pick.
No, like, even with the old rules, I'm, like, sitting here debating between 3 different teams. If we're doing
Give
that
a
way...
list of teams, please, so I can think about it.
I'm
Cam,
debating
your list
Cardinals. Whoops.
Cam, your list of teams is the Jets, the Patriots, the Broncos.
Nope, not the
No,
Jets.
it's not the Jets. The Patriots, the Broncos, the Chargers, the not the
Nope.
Bengals, the Colts or the
and
Titans.
What?
Sorry.
I can't do NFC? I'm an NFC team. Dylan, I'll trade
That
you.
was the point. That was
No.
why we did it this
Bro
way
said
to
go
begin
back
with.
to the old rules and then immediately wants to change them. As soon as it's his... Let Gil pick, man. Let Gil pick.
So it comes down to the Cardinals, the Bears, and the Falcons for me. I really think the
Me too.
Cardinals do have a better year. Give me the Falcons. I'm going Falcons.
Guess
I
what? No
think
matter.
that they
You got
have
back there.
the better year out of everybody. Like, I thought about the Bears. My biggest issue with the Bears is the rookie quarterback.
This dude's getting naked.
We're doing a
man.
little jersey swap here. Throwback Deion
No, he's got the
Sanders.
Falcons jersey on.
Deion.
Little
He's got the
throwback.
jersey on
The
standby.
Falcons, Deion.
On standby.
I got a decent jersey collection. I'm not going to lie. Falcons with Kirk Cousins. I mean, we talked about them. They were a 7-10 team last year, and they had piss poor quarterback play. You added 2 starting quarterbacks to your team. You have a new coaching staff. This team should be better. They should win their division. And I'm just scared that the Bears, with their rookie quarterback, I know I picked them to make the playoffs, doesn't necessarily mean I think they're going to have the better record over the Falcons. So I'll take my second place prize again by choosing the Falcons as my second.
I hate Drew's pick. I think it needs to be voided.
It doesn't matter.
That's
Those are the
ridiculous.
rules.
Within the rules.
Those are the
dumb.
rules.
How is this what he chose?
It's my because he won it last year.
The dude literally picked the Browns last year.
Shouldn't he
And
have
it was like
last
the
pick?
same thing.
Shouldn't he have
So
last
here's-
pick?
No, because he won his
No,
chance.
he gets honors. Whatever.
He won his
Um,
chance. I got you, Drew.
That's all.
I do have an issue with
Thanks,
the
Gil.
rules as well originally because I wasn't under the
Yeah,
understanding.
we know.
No, originally, even back on the
Nine
first
wins.
year,
Nine
Hold
wins
on.
has to be
Hold on.
voided.
because I wanted to choose the Lions because they did not make the playoffs, but apparently had to be bottom 2 in the division, which really doesn't make sense because the Lions missed the playoffs. And so I didn't win because that rule was made last year. So just
Could
saying.
have chose the Vikings and still won.
No, you could not have
Wait,
chosen.
no.
the Rams
No.
were chose. Yeah.
Yeah. The Rams were the
I could've,
second best
I could've,
team out
but-
of the 4 that we picked.
But I don't think I picked in front of Gil. Maybe I did, but I picked
I
the
don't
Lions, and then I was immediately vetoed live in the video, and I had
Go ahead and take your Bears, buddy.
it's the Bears. All right,
Just put the fries in the bag.
it's the Bears.
The
Bears.
Bears.
I'd love to pick the Cardinals because I think they're going to be good, but like they went 4-13.
Not
so
that good though.
they went 4-13, so maybe they'll go like 8-9,
Yeah, they'll be
maybe.
5 and
Bears,
12.
Bears.
All right. What are my teams again? Because Drew decided to
Your
cheat and
options are
Patriots.
I did not cheat.
Broncos.
Literally
No,
within the rules.
you put no
Chargers.
your
effort into
options
your picks.
are listen. Your options are the Patriots, the Broncos, the Chargers, the
Colts.
Colts.
Give me the freaking
the
Chargers.
Titans. All right.
Easy.
There it is.
I'm coming for you, Drew.
Yeah, pick
I'm
that 5
taking
and
the
12
cheesing team this year, too.
Oh, you're winning 7 games max.
I'm winning
so.
10, 9. No, we're doing
9.
8.
But going
7,
farther in the playoffs.
6?
7.
9.
I mean, Cam didn't even have the Bengals in the playoffs, so.
No.
Do you
That's great.
Do you
Maybe
realize
he's onto something. He had the Chargers, but he didn't have the Bengals. So
Yeah,
might be onto
he's,
something.
he's cooking.
All right.
All right, now.
Cooking.
Hold on a second. You were mad when I picked the Bengals, and you had to settle for the Chargers.
Yeah,
but
because
you have the Chargers making the playoffs and the Bengals missing it. But
Yeah,
yet I'm
that is-
cheating.
you chose the safer pick.
It's not adding up.
No,
It's not
Still a
adding up.
safer pick.
That math isn't mathing.
I
The
decided to
discrepancy.
risk it in both. And I couldn't risk it in the second because you chose them immediately. So
Yeah, he just
I
mad
risked
he
it in
didn't get
one.
him. He
and
just
so
mad he
I'm
didn't get
gonna
him.
double down. I'm gonna double
He
down
just
here.
mad.
They were clearly the best team available, and I had the first pick. Normally, you pick the best available when you had the first pick.
Only if you're a
I
smart
think if you
franchise.
win, you should be just
Well, when you win, you
Super
can pick
Bowl.
the rules.
the Super Bowl. The last team picked in the draft.
Well, this isn't the Super Bowl. This
I know-
is bragging rights, and that's how this works.
All right. Good job.
All right, so
We did
Bengals.
it. We
if
did
you're
it.
wondering why we did it that way, is because Drew last year picked the Browns, I picked the Rams, Dylan picked the Saints, and then Cam, who's crying over there, picked the Patriots, which is probably why he's
I picked
crying,
the
because he
Texans.
picked the team that
I
had
picked the
the
Texans
second.
in one.
The Texans
The
were
Texans
not.
didn't count.
I
Anytime
picked
you
the
said that,
Texans
it
in
was
one.
voided.
The Texans.
I picked the Texans in one.
You didn't.
No, you
So-
didn't.
I beat Drew in the playoffs.
What are you talking?
Smacked him in the playoffs, actually.
Just making stuff up.
This dude
Nobody
tried
else
so
thinks that.
hard.
This
It's
is
in
his-
the
this
Twitter
is
bio.
fantasy
Let's
land.
do that.
This-
It's in the Twitter bio. Texans fan for life.
You're
That's
so
fine.
weird.
Your Patriots
You will
were
not
still
be a
in the
Texans
team.
fan the minute CJ Stroud is no longer a Texan.
That's also correct.
Yeah, exactly. So let's wrap us
You
up.
should probably take that for life stuff out. Anyways,
I don't have the four
Quick
Check out the new
recap.
Fields jersey.
that is, I like the
Thanks.
block a little bit. So Drew has got the Bengals. I've got the Falcons. Dylan has the Bears. Cam has the Chargers. 4 quality teams. I'm not gonna lie. We'll see how that
Much
turns
better
out.
than last year.
I do think it does seem better than last year. We'll see. We've got an entire season to watch how all this unfolds. We'll see how accurate our predictions are for the playoffs. I'm sure mine are going to be dead on. And then we'll just kind of go from there with week 1 right around the
Trying
corner.
so hard.
Right around the corner. We are so close to being able to sit there and watch commercial-free football for 7 straight hours. It's been a long summer. Let's make sure we enjoy it once we get there. Thank you, everybody, for watching, staying tuned to us here at Party Chat Sports. Go follow us on TikTok. We've got a few TikToks up on the feed. I think you're going to enjoy those. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Keep up with everything that we're doing here at Party Chat Sports, and also wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Until next time, have a great rest of your week. We'll be back more often with football season here. Until next time, though, have a good one.
Go Mules, beat Canton.
Peace.